Alright folks, Coach Alex here, and today I'm going to be answering one of my readers' emails. So we're going to be talking specifically about how to balance or how to train strength and endurance at the same time. Really popular topic, one I get actually asked a lot from athletes, especially athletes at different levels. There's a lot of nuance in this answer, so I think it's going to benefit a lot of people. Before I jump into the email, if you haven't come across my content before, whether you're listening online, watching on YouTube, reading the article version list, whatever, right? I am a professional strength and conditioning coach. Been doing that about a decade. I am a tutor educator for British Weightlifting. I am an assistant lecturer at the University of Hull, where I'm also completing my PhD in strength coach-athlete relationships. All of which is to say, I'm a massive strength geek. I live in the gym. This is what I do. So you can hopefully trust that what I tell you isn't complete horse crap, right? So let's jump into it. I'm going to jump into this email from, this is a chap called Nick. So what is he saying? Hi Alex, been following your content online for a few years now. Good man, that should give you a really good start. But I'm still a little unsure as to how to combine my strength work with my endurance. I've been strength training for multiple years and I've recently started getting interested in triathlon. Okay, that could be fun. But I found the demands of both are quite difficult. How do I go about balancing strength and my triathlon training in the same week? Cool, okay, well, we can work with that. I'll talk specifically about triathlon at times, and I'm gonna talk generally about strength and endurance training at others, okay? So, first consideration, strength training, very, very different to endurance training, right? Strength training, bench press, squat, deadlift, overhead press, sets of, 1 to 5 reps, 1 to 6 reps, even hypertrophy work sort of falls on this end of the spectrum, right? And then over here we have endurance. So half marathons, triathlons, whether they be sprint distance or like ultras, like Ironmans, these are quite poles apart. They're very different adaptations. So they create different adaptations in the body, and we have to accept right off the bat, okay, that if you want to be the best possible strength athlete possible, like if you want to be as strong as humanly possible for you, you cannot do endurance work. And if you want to be the best possible endurance athlete in the world, then you don't really want to be doing a bunch of strength work. Like you might do some strength and conditioning sessions to build some of the supporting musculature. That's something that you can do that may be beneficial, but you're not gonna be trying to get really, really strong. And the same here, like you can do a little bit of cardio every now and again, might be somewhat beneficial in some instances, but you do too much of it, it's gonna get in the way of your strength. We call that basically like almost the interference effect. Like because you're trying to create different adaptations in your body, different physiological pathways, different sort of muscular adaptations, they're going to interfere with each other, right? Now, key consideration. What I'm going to say to this person is this interference effect can often be massively overstated, okay? So if you're trying to be the best at these things, then yes, you have to really prioritize them. But if you just want to be pretty good at both of them and you're at a decent or a pretty good level, you can absolutely combine both of these things, and you can do so effectively, you can do it well, and you can do it in a way that minimizes the interference of the two, that allows you to develop both qualities fairly well at the same time. And I've seen this happen multiple times. I've managed to coach multiple athletes through this process of getting them very strong, or at least decently strong and decently fit, decently endurance, at the same time. It is definitely possible, okay? So don't go thinking it's completely impossible. It's a matter of degree. If you want to be world class at either of these things, you just can't be world class at both of them at the same time, is what I'm saying, right? So training for strength and endurance simultaneously or at the same time. There are 3 ways that we can approach this, and I'm going to take you through them from beginner through intermediate and into advanced, right? A beginner approach is you could probably do both of them on the same day and you'd be completely fine. So if you're a bit of a beginner at both of these things, you could do your strength work for 30-40 minutes, and then at the end of that session you could do a 15-20 minute conditioning workout, some kind of circuits, a short jog, a cycle, a swim, and you would make great progress for months and months and months. Even myself now, as a professional S&C coach, when I get away from conditioning for a while, this is how I reintroduce it. In fact, I've done that just recently. Reintroduced little conditioning circuits at the end of my main strength workouts, and you'll get multiple months of progress out of that really simple structure. That is literally all you need to do if you're at the beginner level for reintroducing conditioning or the beginner level for reintroducing strength. Easy peasy, right? A more intermediate approach. You will get to an approach where doing both of them in the same session just gets to be logistically a pain in the ass. You're going to need more work for both of them to make good progress, right? So what you can then do is split them up. Simple ways of splitting them up is just different days. So if you're training 4 days a week, you do 2 strength sessions, you do 2 endurance sessions. Maybe you do strength on Monday and Thursday, you do endurance on Tuesday and Friday. Easy peasy, right? You got your 2 workouts split across the week, 4 workouts split across the week, 2 of each. Easy peasy, nice intermediate approach. If you're more advanced, if you're someone that is significantly strong or has significantly good endurance, then what you might have to start doing is thinking more about prioritization and periodization, which are really it's a fancy way of saying just structuring your training over time to allow you to develop the qualities you need to develop. So let's say in this person's example over here, right, they came from a background more of strength. They were better at the strength work, right? But they introduced endurance. They want to get better at endurance. So what I would say for them then is they might have to do more of an endurance focused block. So they might pick 4 to 8 weeks where 3 or 4 times a week they're going to do endurance focused workouts. They might do cycling 1, swimming 1, running for the other, and then they might do a combined swim, cycle, run in a triathlon style. That's a really common triathlon training split, right? That's sort of those 4 workouts. That's something you could absolutely do if you're wanting to build up your triathlon. The drawback to that is that you're thinking, well, yeah, there's not much room for the strength training in amongst that, and you're right, there's absolutely not. So what you might have to do during this period is drop your strength training down just to 1 session and keep the sets in that session pretty low. You might only do 2 or 3 sets of most exercises, literally just enough to hang on to your strength, just enough to maintain your strength with no expectation of developing it. So you go through 8 weeks, you don't get any stronger, right? That is something that you may have to accept if you really want to develop one of the qualities a lot. But over that time, your endurance will go up loads, right? Because you're doing loads more targeted endurance training. And then at the end of that, your endurance gets to a really good level. What you could hypothetically do, right, is you could switch it. You could then do 3 or 4 really hard strength sessions per week, but then just drop your endurance training down just to 1 session per week, just enough to hang on to your endurance and maintain it for a period of a few weeks. These are really simplified examples, okay? Obviously, the exact number of sessions, the volumes, the sets, the reps, all of that would be individualized, and you would base that on your own performance data, your own tracking data, all the stuff that you know about how you respond to training, or how your coach knows that you respond to training. So yeah, that's basically it in a nutshell. That is how you train for strength and endurance at the same time. If you're a beginner, you do them basically in the same session. As an intermediate, you divide your sessions up. And as more of an advanced athlete, someone that's at least advanced in one of the things, you might have to think about prioritization, periodization, spreading those sessions out over longer time frames. And that is it. That's how you train for both of them at the same time. Totally doable, totally achievable. And you really can develop both of them simultaneously pretty well. You're not going to be a world-class athlete at either of them, but you can be pretty darn good at each. And I've seen this happen with dozens of the guys that I've coached, so it is totally possible. Now, if you've gotten some value from this, if you think this has been useful, then feel free to share this around if you've got any friends or athletes that you think are going to benefit from it. Beyond that, really useful thing to do, ask me some questions, folks. So if you've got a burning question about your own training, about strength and conditioning, about athletic performance, email me, alex@characterstrength.co.uk. Drop me an email. I can't promise I'm going to get back to you immediately, right? It might take me a few days to get back to you. I tend to be busy with my other work, whether it's lecturing, teaching, seminars, actually working with the people that are paying me to work with them. So I will get back to you. So give me a few days and I'll try and get back to you. If the topic's really interesting, like a lot of these have been, then I'll try and do a video just like this. I'll try and answer it in some detail. I'll try and draw up a long form article alongside it with tables and sets and reps. So I really will try and jump into it if it's something that I think is going to benefit enough people. Beyond that, if you are someone that is actually wanting one-to-one coaching, then you'll find links down below. You can go to my website, characterstrength.co.uk, and you can find coaching for weightlifting, powerlifting, strength and conditioning, great stuff like that. If you're someone for who budget is a bit tighter, you might want to consider something like custom programming. I can write you a program for a few weeks. You can go away, execute it. Way more affordable, but it gives you some good guidelines to work on. for the most part. And then if you've got absolutely no budget, just ask me questions, get in touch, drop me like questions in the comments below. I'm gonna do my best to like use my experience, my education, like all the stuff that I know that works with athletes. I'm gonna try and just give that to you as best as I can so that you can improve your performance. That is it, I think, for today. So I will see you in the next one. All right, catch you in a bit.